we look at heavy fantasy swords from different franchises. This is the Kitsune clan, a group of sword enthusiasts who like cosplay, reenactment, and historical martial arts. If you have similar interests, feel welcomed. Giant swords are popular in a lot of pop culture surroundings, and we want to have a look at some of them. Important disclaimer: we are using foam versions of these weapons, but still they will hurt. If you play around with such devices, be more careful than with usual cosplay swords. For starters, we have here the heavy thing from Berserk. Yes, it's smaller than it is in the manga or the anime. Check our video on scaling and pixelation for a good reasoning why it needs to be this size. Link is in the description box. I guess no one will be surprised if we support earlier observations and state the handle of this thing is much too short. And, as you just saw, if you get a hit with these things, it really hurts as hell, but the attacks are also a bit slow. That's a bit better with this kitchen knife type sword from Bleach, because the balancing is better. The center of gravity is closer to the handle, and therefore it can move astonishingly fast, although it clearly must be considered one of the heavy swords. As we just saw, it's also possible to use this sword in half sword. That's almost impossible with the Berserk one, another disadvantage of this one, and another positive feature of the Bleach sword. Although advantages against the Berserk sword, the Bleach kitchen knife sword is still on the slow side, and the katana clearly moves faster. Next up, a Buster Sword from Final Fantasy, the fusion version. Much similar in many aspects to the Berserk Sword, but it has the one or other advantage the Berserk Sword lacks. Yes, it is also very massive. Yes, the handle is also extremely short, but you can at least grasp it in half sword if necessary, and that makes it a bit faster in certain situations and a bit more flexible. It is still comparably slow and it is hard to stop after a strike, but that's to be expected from heavy swords in general. Next up, the Black Monstrosity from Black Clover. And this is in fact a interesting shape of the tip that we see in a lot of franchises. This reminds of the Monk Spade and therefore also the Lirpa, video link below. But similar swords are also known, for example, in Vox Machina, Genshin Impact, and in fact many others. This idea with a axe-head type sword is fine. With the Black Clover specimen here, the handle is a problem in itself. I know all of these swords have these short handles in Black Clover, but it's really a pain in the ass. So before any further testing, we really had to do something about it. The weapon is so off balance. And of course you know how I do that. I use my box cutter, remove parts and will reattach them with duct tape. And here we have a version that is more usable than the one that was before. We have a two-handed handle now with a short crossguard. I had already warned you, heavy swords are painful. And I showed also with the Lirpa that the edges of the tip can really be painful. The combination here is something else. You can strike holes in cardboard. It's really harsh to get hit by the tip of this sword. Still, while playing with this heavy thing, we recognize it's still not a good, fast, and flexible sword. It has the same problem as the Berserk sword or the Cloud Buster sword. It is slow and a bit unwieldy and it's hard to stop when it has started moving. Like the Berserk sword, you cannot really hold it in half sword. The only thing you could find better here is the fact that we have a crossguard. So in theory we can go better in bind, but doing so rips off the crossguard really easy. This is still a foam sword. Testing the heavy swords against each other somehow balances out major problems because then both of the swords are slow, but it also means it's painful for both of the practitioners. You see here we tried our best, and I also played around with having the Berserk sword, for example, in a half sword, but it's really not working well. Due to the inertia, but also due to the geometry, we lack a lot of the stuff we see. Usually disarms, traps, complex moves, they are all gone. And as you just saw, these things also break more easily because they have more mass. All the standard movements that we would use with a normal sword. Zwerchhau is really tricky. You saw I just tried it. Zornhau, yes, sure, but you cannot really stop it. There's almost no Krumpau or Schielhau possible. There's no Winden, so winding possible. So in fact, it's a very crude type of swordplay. And rarely you can see a disarm like I just managed here with the leg. We still try to have a bit of fun like here with the Bleach sword. You could get the idea that this band at the handle could be used to swing it around. Not very effective, but at least a bit funny. The Bleach sword at least has the advantage that due to the better balance, it is quite a bit faster than the other heavy swords, and it can also better redirect the moves, which in some leads to more hits with the Bleach sword than with the other ones. Although these are a bit less painful, but if it hits the hand, it's painful enough. If you didn't see the hit properly, here it is again. So, if you need to take one of these four heavy swords, I would definitely vote for the Bleach sword. As you see, we can strike with the backside quite effectively. What is a bit disturbing is if you play that in slow motion, how the blade behaves and even deforms. Here it comes, a classical Knichelhau. Look at the deformation of the blade. Really interesting to see that. Foam swords are interesting to look at in slow motion, definitely. Overall, the heavy swords are simply too heavy, or better, the short handles don't match with the length of the blade. We will have a part 2 with more heavy swords next time. So hopefully we could inspire you and see you around next time.